Welcome back, folks. Joining me now is somebody who I think is going to be the next governor of New York, that being Congressman Lee Zeldin. Lee, thank you for coming on set. Of course, the latest business around your house, dead bodies under the porch, not good. Hochul said, I didn't know this, one of my producers said, commenting about this whole terrible situation, all you need is to work on getting guns off the street. What do you think of that statement by Hochul, Governor Hochul? That's all we need is getting guns off the street?
First off, we don't know who the shooters are, and we don't know what their motive is. But if you were to guess, you'll probably find out it's somebody with a past criminal record. We'll see. It's probably an illegal firearm, not someone who's a concealed carry permit holder. You know, and Kathy Hochul is one of these people. She puts out a tweet where she's calling on American Express, MasterCard, and Visa to flag all gun purchases as suspicious. I also would bet that the shooter or shooters of what happened in my front yard on Sunday probably didn't start, that gun transaction didn't begin with a swipe of an American Express card. So we have to be honest with each other in this conversation. We should be going after the criminal committing crime after crime after crime with an illegal firearm, and because the system's not working, cashless bail laws and more, these people are out on the street. But what happens is, instead of going after that group of people, they go after the law-abiding New Yorker who wants to safely and securely carry a firearm solely for self-defense. We should all be working together just to be going after the criminal.
You undoubtedly heard what former governor, Democratic Governor David Paterson said on the John Katz radio show, I guess it was Friday, that this is the worst he's ever seen the crime problem in New York. He even went back to the 80s and 90s, said this is the worst he's ever seen it. Now, Hochul has done what about this?
She's made it worse. I mean, she signed the Less is More Act when she first came in to release people early from prison. So the woman in Howard Beach who was attacked at a subway by a guy who had once killed his own grandparent violated his parole this past August. The parole officer wasn't able to keep him detained because of this Less is More Act. So now this woman may not have vision. We just had a woman last Wednesday who was murdered in front of her 3 kids in the Buffalo area by her husband. She was wearing a bulletproof vest the day before, after getting charged with a slew of domestic violence offenses, was released due to cashless bail. The judge did not have discretion to weigh dangerousness. Because they haven't given judges discretion to weigh dangerousness, he gets released on Tuesday, and sure enough, the next day on Wednesday, last Wednesday, murders his wife in front of these 3 kids. We need to repeal cashless bail. We need district attorneys doing their job. We need to roll back some of these other pro-criminal laws, and we need to start better backing our men and women in law enforcement in order to take back our streets.
When's the debate with Hochul?
So there should be multiple debates all across this entire state. But what she wants to do, her first offer, her only offer, is that she would do one debate on cable at the very end of October, over a month after the start of mail-in voting. She has actually said on some of these issues, like cashless bail, you have to elect her to find out where her position on it may be in January. I believe, crazy thought, that voters should know where we stand on issues before they vote, not after. And one debate isn't enough. When I first ran for re-election in 2016 to Congress, I was polling way up. 15, 20, 25 plus points up. I could have followed some Rose Garden strategy. I agreed to over 20 joint appearances with my opponent. I didn't have to do it, but I respect the voters. The voters deserve to have this opportunity to ask us these questions. And whether you're running for the House or you're running for President of the United States, there are multiple debates because there's a lot to talk about.
She doesn't want to face up to it. I mean, really, she doesn't want to face up to it. That's just my own point of view. We report, people will decide, but I think that's so clear. So crime has become the #1 issue. But I would add to that, just get your take on this. Look, I've said this many times, high crime is like a tax increase on business and the economy. People don't want to reopen a business, don't want to start a new business because it isn't safe, don't want to move into a neighborhood because it's not safe in the kids' schools. Crime resounds to the economic detriment, and New York State and city have fallen way behind on the economy.
Amen. New York leads the entire nation in population loss. Why is that? Well, people have hit their breaking point. They don't feel safe. They feel like their wallets have been attacked, and they know that if they go to some of these other states, they'll feel safer. Their money will go further. It becomes an economic decision. It becomes a personal safety decision. In some respect, it's an individual freedom decision that gets made. They feel freer in some of these other states as well. But if you're a small business here in Manhattan and you have a problem where, I mean, now the toothpaste is getting locked up. People get so much that gets stolen. I mean, where's that coming from? That inventory getting stolen off the racks, someone's paying for that.
Yes, they are. One other point about Governor Hochul, and look, I have said this publicly, I'll say it again, you are my candidate for governor, period, full stop. But the New York Post is running a constant discussion of her corruption. No bid contracts to campaign donors, and she refuses to deal with that. And I think that corruption is also part of the crime wave.
Oh, there's no doubt that there is a decision that was deliberate, that was made by Kathy Hochul to sell out access to her office in order to raise tens of millions of dollars for this campaign. She has shown that she is, I mean, listen, you just brought up a great example. She gave out a no-bid contract for over $600 million for COVID tests, paying far more, twice the price as what California paid to this top donor. And if you were to look closely at it and then you examine it and then you decide to ask your question as a member of the media, like just happened a couple weeks ago, she said she would do it all over again. She was presented with the facts. Yeah. Listen, full transparency, we know what you did. And she said, this is the way I'm going to make sure that never happens again. And how does it impact the economics? Well, it's estimated at over $250 million more spent by taxpayers for those COVID tests. And this company that got the contract, they weren't even the company that manufactured the tests. It was just some company that said, hire us, and then we'll be the middleman. California. I mean, of all places, you're going to look to California as an example. Well, in this case, better example than New York, they went to the company that manufactured the tests. Scandal after scandal after scandal. Pay-to-play corruption is her MO. People at one point were saying this was Andrew Cuomo 2.0. That's not even a good example. Hey, Kathy Hochul, in her own right, has made Albany far more toxic than it's ever been before.
You pulled even in the polls, or at least you pulled even in some distinguished polls.
Yeah, listen.
It's about crime.
Trafalgar.
But I think it's about turn them out. This is where the outs are going to get rid of the ins. This is going to be a populist election. You know, Lee, we've talked about this. I always argue the cavalry's coming. It's a red wave. New York State is going to be part of that red wave.
We are not in this race to come in second. We are going to win this race because we have to win this race. In order for us to win, we need everybody out there doing absolutely everything in their power, taking nothing for granted. It's a constitutional right that we were given to vote, yes, but it's also our duty. It's our obligation. If you're out there, you're listening, you're a proud American, it is your responsibility to be as active as possible these last 4 weeks before the election.
All right. We're both getting the hook. Good luck. You're doing great work. The last hope for New York. I really, truly mean that. Lee Zeldin, Congressman Lee Zeldin.
Thank you, Larry.
For coming on.